And it's all happening today. Plenty of live streams here on the channel. Tommy Robinson, we did a live stream about him a couple of hours ago, of course, as he went on a mini rant with regard to Labour's grooming gang U-turn and cover-up. However, much to his delight, I'm sure a lot of Tommy Robinson supporters will be happy. He's done a 6.5-minute video this time that we're going to be watching and reacting to in this live stream. And actually, I'm going to be watching it for the first time here live with you guys, so we can watch and react in real time. But as stated, it does look fiery. It looks extremely fiery. So let's have a watch. And as always, guys, please do hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and and we'll get involved in the live chat a little bit later on. But have a watch of Tommy Robinson's 6.5-minute rant over Labour's cover-up and U-turn with regard to the grooming gang scandal.
As I sit here thinking about everything, I'm on my holiday, and I still can't stop this going. I think about the first 6 months of the English Defence League. We started talking about these problems on the streets. During those first 6 months, I was dawn raided 3 times. So they come through my mum and dad's house and my children's home with my kids in it with machine guns. Do you know, and I've got all the proof of this. So any inquiry, Yorkshire Police travelled. They arrested me at Luton Airport, Special Branch. Then they raided my mum's and my family's home. And they went in there for criminal damage in a hotel that I stayed in. I put in a complaint through the IPCC. Now, when they and I said that I think the reason you arrested me was to stop my activism with the English Defence League, because they give me bail conditions not to be with 2 or more English Defence League supporters. And the date I had to answer bail was the same date I was due to talk at a demonstration in Bradford. Yorkshire. The police travel from Yorkshire. Remember, Rotherham is Yorkshire, where all the rape gang scandal is, where all the police have been hiding it in Yorkshire, Keighley, Bradford, all these areas. Yorkshire police come down to my home and raided me. They give me bail conditions. So I said in the Police Complaints Commission, I believe it was a fake arrest. I believe that you've done it to stop my political activism. You picked the date when I was at the airport going to Scotland to set up the Scottish Defence League to stop that. Do you know they accepted all of it? In the IPCC, they send their police officers on training courses. This was the British state, the police, kicking off doors with machine guns of my family. Do you know, in that first 6 months, after this dawn raid, I lived in a nice area, a village called Lower Stondon. Nice area with my children. Remember, I just started this activism. So I had 2 successful businesses and a nice family life. We'd moved into this lovely village in a lovely home. We had to leave because my then fiance couldn't take the children to school after this. She was that embarrassed by all the police raids, the active targeting of our families. And what was it all about? Why did Yorkshire Police target me? Because they were covering up and hiding the rape scandal. Because they all had dirty hands. So any inquiry, and I've got all the black and white paperwork for this, you can see it in my York speech. I'll share it. I'll share it in here. I gave a speech in York where I went through the paperwork. The police just owned up. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did do that. We did do it to stop your activism. What were they stopping? Ask yourself that. They were stopping us talking about the rape scandal of all of our daughters. Why were they doing that? Because they were still in massive cover-up mode. Now, what that should have done after that first dawn raid didn't stop us. Second, third, that active targeting by the police was meant to break us. And it caused me mayhem as a family. My mum crying, my whole family crying. All my family begging me, stop, Stephen, stop. All because we didn't break the law. We were using our democratic right to take to the streets in protest to talk about issues that they had hidden. And that's what they've done. So in any inquiry, can we inquire into these sort of circumstances? And can heads roll of police officers that fabricated, they admit fabricating the charges. They said I broke a hotel room door. They had a statement of the manager of the hotel that I stayed in saying I'd done nothing. But they knew I stayed in the hotel. They knew I stayed there because they followed us there after the previous English Defence League demonstration when we was in Blackpool. We went from Blackpool to Sheffield and I stopped at a hotel and they'd followed us there. So then they fabricated a criminal damage because it was in Yorkshire in order to gain access to raid homes. And do you know what they've done? When they come in my home on this first one for criminal damage, one officer, when I got let out, my ex-wife said one officer spent 8 hours just sat there writing through all the paperwork to do with our properties and homes because we had 7 properties. Now, their warrant didn't give them permission to have access to anything other than electrical goods. So they seized computers and seized phones. They said they wanted to show that I booked the hotel. So this was an excuse to get our asset, to get our computer devices. But what they then did, one officer spent 8 hours writing down every bit of financial paperwork we had. Properties, businesses, bank accounts, everything. They went through all our files. Guess what they then done? 8 weeks later, another dawn raid, money laundering, tax evasion. They then put me under financial terrorism orders that they brought in. For 4 years, they froze my assets. They shut down my business. I had a plumbing business with 8 men working for us. They closed it. They shut down my solarium. I had a sunbed shop. They closed it. For 4 years, they held us under these orders. All of them to destroy us, to silence us. Why? All of it to keep their secrets. All of it to shut us up. All of it so they could continue allowing the Islamic community to rape their way through this country. They cared more about the votes from the Islamic community than they did about England's daughters, Britain's daughters, because this doesn't escape England. The more I think about it and I sit and think now, because we should be feeling vindicated. No, I feel fucking angry. Angry about it all. Angry, and I want to know, are they going to get done? Are the people that done that? They dawn raided, do you know when they done that financial raid? My wife was 6 months pregnant. They arrested her, 6 months pregnant. They interviewed her for 6 hours. 6 hours, I had her come out, breaking down, crying. Did she get charged with anything? No. 3 times they interviewed her over the next 2 years. Terrifying her. For what? To cover up their rapes, their dirty hands. All of it was intimidation. All of it was tactics to break us. All of it.
So, wow, that was pretty powerful from Tommy actually hearing his story, man. The guy was financially crippled, essentially, due to them covering it up. That's absolutely diabolical. And, heads will need to roll. You can see the pain and anger in his voice there. Of course, heads will need to roll. Again, we should, as he said there towards the end, we should feel vindicated. You know, people in the UK should feel vindicated that there's a national inquiry. And I always like to stress that the most important people in this is, of course, the victims of these gangs. Of course it is. It's the victims that need to get justice, for sure, 100%. That's the most important part. But, you know, I can't help but feel sympathy for someone like Tommy, you know. The guy's been destroyed, and we've seen it time and time again. You know, you grow a little bit of influence and go up against the sort of status quo and the establishment. You'll quickly find yourself being cancelled, and that's a horrific story, really. A guy being financially crippled and his businesses being shut down as well. Absolutely disgusting and absolutely diabolical. And I echo those words. The heads will need to roll from the people that helped cover this up. 100%. Who was trying to stop Tommy Robinson from talking out against this? Who was the people that were ordering these arrests and these raids and crippling him financially? Who were these people? And he wouldn't have been the only one. There have been loads of people across the country. Some of the stories are horrific, and I won't even share them here on this channel. About families going to the police and them turning them away and standing up for the perpetrators. Disgusting. But yeah, guys, what do you think of that? Let me know down in the comments. I know there's been a lot of live streams today. There's a lot going on with Iran and the rest of it as well. Of course, now with this in the politics space as well. So, yeah, I'm not sure if we're going to be live again tonight, but if I am, there's any breaking news, I'll be live. Be sure for that. So if you haven't already, please do